Welcome to CEO Money. I'm Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining with me. I have Holly Duckworth with me. She is the leader, with Leadership Solutions. Thanks for joining the show, Holly.
Michael, thanks for having me at this important time of transition in the world.
You are a New York Times contributor, host of Everyday Mindfulness Show, and a trailblazing keynote speaker. Give us some more color on you, and then I have some some questions about mindfulness.
Well, life is not always the path you think it will be. I like to tell people that I didn't start out being a professional speaker or an expert on mindfulness. I grew up just outside of Portland, Oregon, a very, very blue-collar life. I'm a first-generation college graduate, and I've had the opportunity to live and learn and grow through the meetings industry, the hospitality tourism industry, and write many books and start to connect people in that way. So I always just like to tell people that wherever you start isn't where you end up, and my story is certainly an example of that, and yet you can go anywhere you want to go when you put your mind to it.
Tell me about mindfulness in the corporate world.
So, Michael, my focus is mindfulness, or what I call applied mindfulness, for CEOs and executives. And so first we kind of have to back up and go, well, what is mindfulness? And I think a lot of executive leaders are hearing this buzzword, maybe thinking it's a fad. But mindfulness is what I call, it's like new thought, ancient wisdom. These are ancient practices that have been honed and refined and are now re-emerging in our busy 24/7 world. So mindfulness, first of all, is the practice of being fully present in the moment without judgment. And I know in our world of 24/7 email and news and social media and all of these things bombarding us, the practice of mindfulness can help us to be better leaders, no matter what our role is within the framework of an organization. So mindfulness is really important because our employees, our teams are hurting. According to the Global Wellness Institute, there's over 3.2 billion workers, and they are increasingly unwell. We are facing economic uncertainty, less health, aging, and even in some cases, an unsafe workplace. And mindfulness and the applied mindfulness practices that I teach can invite people to be more fully present, healthy, happy, and more productive at work, no matter what they do.
Give me an example of what you mean by that, how we can become more productive at work, and how it is woven into the fabric of corporate America as we go forward.
So in my book, one of the opening stanzas is, we live in a world of bigger, better, faster, and more. And I think now's the time where our world is actually saying, we're pushing the scales as hard as we can in terms of sales and growth and mindset. And if we don't take care of our humanness, our human beingness, our human doingness is going to suffer. So an example of that might be, I often coach sales professionals, and we know in the sales world, okay, you hit your goal in 2017, we're going to raise it in 2018, and we're going to raise it in 2019. And we need new sustainability ways to attain that goal. So I have one program I do, it's called Mindful Selling. And I recently coached a major executive of a company, and worked hard all year, hit his goal, actually became the top producer in this global organization. And then he came to me, he was burned out, he was exhausted. There was no more gas in the tank to go hit that next year of goals. And he worked with me in mindful selling techniques, breathing, affirmations, and intention setting to actually slow down, to speed up in order to attain his goals. And unfortunately, not everyone does that. Some people, they hit that wall and they end up either changing careers or having a health challenge. And when anybody's out of the workplace, be it mentally out of the workplace or even physically out of the workplace, that can have a direct financial impact on an organization's bottom line.
You don't just address the symptoms, you actually work within corporate cultures to make mindfulness pervasive throughout the entire organization. Talk to me about getting the buy-in from people to work more in a mindful space, and then how it relates to the end work product.
I love this question. I get asked this question all of the time. I like to say I bridge the personal practice of mindfulness into organizations. It's true. Most of my clients start out with a CEO, maybe a champion within the company that's already practicing mindfulness, or they have a skill at creating a curiosity and discovery about what mindfulness could be. And once we have that seed of curiosity, then I have the opportunity to go in and, like you said, kind of explore what are the beliefs going on under the challenges, the stress, the overwhelm, or the chaos within an organization. So mindfulness, it might start as a personal practice, but when we get 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 or 100 people starting to look at their work life differently, perhaps even work life integration differently, I can bring some of these strategies. One of my favorites is the idea of corporate visioning, that so often in organizations we do the 2018, 2019 business plan, and we just basically take the year off the last year and change the next year and the next year and the next year. The visioning process is a mindful way that we can actually go in and say, what's the highest and best for this organization? And with mindfulness, meditation, breathing, creativity techniques, we can actually revolutionize a company's culture, refresh their business plan, get people excited again, and start thinking about, what does our business look like? What's it feel like? What's it sound like? Because we live in a feeling universe. And so inviting this mindful practice into your company may be a way to reboot with clear vision for 2020 and beyond.
How can I use what you have been able to share with other leaders for myself? Give me some examples that the audience and myself can use on a practical note, to how we can start to practice more mindfulness to create better environments, better results, and a better circumstance that we really want to be in.
Well, Michael, I wanted to offer you and your listeners, I have this little tool I call the mindfulness mini poster. And on it's just an 8.5 by 11 little piece of paper that has 7 practices to be a mindful leader. And I'll just share a couple of them here on the show. Which the first one is really that idea of intention setting. And intention is, how are you going to put your energy in motion? Many workers today, we get up, we grab that cup of coffee, we run out the door, and that how are we going to be in the day? We don't even have time to think about it. We're going to be stressed, we're going to be overwhelmed, and then the next day we're going to do it again and again and again. Mindfulness is about being fully present and aware to what is the energy that you want to create in that day. And maybe invite some new words into your life. Maybe today I just want to be happy or grateful or joyful. And then periodically throughout the day, before you make that phone call to the boss, before you reach out to that troublesome client, remind yourself of that intention. Because whatever intention we set for the day can actually become an energy magnet to bring more of that into our world. So intention setting is a great way to become a mindful leader. And that's something you can do no matter how you commute to work. You walk down the hall to your home office, maybe you jump on a subway, or even if you drive. Just take a minute and go, what's the energy that I want to create? What's the intention I want to create today? You know, another great way, I talked about visioning, but a third one is the idea of affirmation settings. Our mindset creates our world. And if we're going into work going, oh, it's going to be another day of sales calls, we're going to get, oh, it's another day of sales calls. But a mantra or an affirmation is a positive, present tense statement that you or your team could use at work to shift your mindset. And I often work with teams and organizations to set that mantra for the day or a special project. For the next 12 weeks, our team is dedicated and committed to increasing income by 5% while being joyful and easeful. And the team writes that statement together, and then they say it together throughout the life of the project. Before each of the meetings, maybe they have it on their email or their agendas. These are a couple of techniques that you can use both individually and as a part of a team to set a mindful corporate, more productive and profitable organization.
Holly, thank you so much for bringing that to me. I and our audience. I thoroughly enjoyed the interview. I got something out of it, and I really hope that we can come down. You can come back later, and we can drill down into each one of the topics, the high-level topics we spoke about today.
My pleasure. Remember, mindful matters, and so do you, Michael.
Thank you. All right, you've been watching CEO Money with Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining with us. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our new, as a matter of fact, look us up on our new app on the App Store and on Android, CEO Money. We're going to start really doing some big building on that. Thanks for coming with us today.